Hey y'all, let's get right into it. This video is about Trump versus Biden-Harris. So I've been trying to figure out what is it that Biden and now Harris, who's running for president, now what their agenda is, and how will it help the country. I also wanted to make a comparison between Trump agenda and Biden-Harris agenda. Now it looks like Harris' website is only for campaign donations, and Biden's site is about his endorsement of Harris. However, I was able to capture a snapshot of his website before it was changed. So I'm going to start with Trump's agenda. When you go into his website, you see that he has about 20 agenda items for this country. They are as follows. Number 1, seal the border and stop migrant invasion. This definitely sounds like something that the country needs because we don't know who these people are and they haven't been vetted. I support immigration when it's done the right way. Number 2, carry out the largest deportation. This sounds good, although I don't know how this will be possible. However, I do support it because, again, we don't know who these people are who have migrated here illegally. Number 3, end inflation and make America affordable again. This is something that is plaguing a lot of Americans right now because the cost of food is so high. We're practically paying double and sometimes triple the price on things nowadays. Number 4, make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. I think this is one of the ways that will make our dollar stretch far and would definitely reduce inflation. Number 5, stop outsourcing and turn the United States into manufacturing superpower. I think this is a really good one because it will bring more jobs and will help to strengthen the middle class even more. Number 6, large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. A lot of people have been reluctant to get married, and I think this right here would definitely cause people to want to have a family because now they can afford one. Number 7, defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. My opinion, it looks as if our constitutional rights are constantly under attack, and they use tactics such as gun violence to attack the Second Amendment, or you can't say whatever you want to attack our First Amendment, or the Eighth Amendment, which is how they violated Trump's rights by imposing an extremely high bond. Number 8, prevent World War III, restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. Number 9, end the weaponization of government against the American people. Number 10, stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. Number 11, rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. I would love to see an upgrade to our cities. To me, this also means an increase in jobs because people will have to participate in this, as well as small businesses. Number 12, strengthen and modernize our military, make it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world. I agree with this because in order to stay in power, we have to look and be powerful. Number 13, keep the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. I see this as a way to keep our dollar strong, but I could be wrong. Number 14, fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. Number 15, cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut closely at some regulations. In my opinion, this should have never been a mandate. People should be able to buy whatever they want. That's the American way. Number 16, cut federal funding. For any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender, ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. This should have never been allowed into the curriculum or into the schools at all. The schools should have always been centered on teaching English, mathematics, history, and trades. Number 17, keep men out of women's sports. Allowing men to compete against women in sports is clearly a decay in society. Number 18, deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. Personally, I don't know about deporting Hamas radicals, especially if they are American citizens. However, I do consent to making our colleges safe again without the woke rhetoric. Number 19, secure our elections included same-day voting, voter identification, paper, ballots, and proof of citizenship. Yeah, this has always been an issue for me because Americans need IDs in order to function in society. So to not require identification to vote is clearly speaking election fraud. Lots of countries require ID in order to vote to prevent fraud. Last but not least, unite our country by bringing it to new and levels of success. I would like more conversation on this one because when he's speaking of record levels of success, what type of success? Although with what's going on right now, the mere mentioning of success and making this country successful, I support it. Now let's take a look at Biden's agenda. Even though his website has been changed, I did manage to get a screenshot of it before it was taken now. So these are the 6 items that Biden-Harris will be focusing on, and that is protecting and strengthening our democracy, whatever that means, growing the middle class, fighting to lower costs for working families. I would like to know what type of costs they're talking about, although lowering costs is always a great thing. Building a fair tax system that works for the middle class, make a healthcare more accessible and affordable, fighting to restore reproductive freedom. Now, this is something that I think should really be with the state and not something that our president should be focusing on. Reading Biden-Harris agenda items had a different feel to it versus reading Trump's agenda items. When I was reading Trump's agenda items, it seems as if there's a clear picture for the direction of this country versus reading Biden-Harris agenda items. It was kind of vague in my opinion, and it didn't seem as if Biden-Harris have a clear vision for this country. Also, I guess the Biden-Harris administration consider these things as an accomplishment, and what their focus was to appoint the first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court, which, in my opinion, this seems as if it didn't matter if she was qualified. This also means other people, men and women, were overlooked because they wanted a black woman. Another one of their action items was the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which is centered around gun violence. The next one, the Chips and Science Act. Now, I think that this was a good one. I don't know if it actually happened. This administration didn't do a good job of highlighting this and keeping us updated on things like that because they mostly focused on how bad of a person Trump is. So I don't know about this one, but I think it was a good idea. Expanding health care for veterans through the PACT Act is interesting to me. Why veterans are not being taken care of. And this is always a highlight for a lot of presidents with doing something for veterans when veterans should be getting the best because they help keep our country safe. And then the last thing is they signed marriage equality into law, and that's for same-sex and interracial couples. I don't understand this one because wasn't they already able to get married? They mean same-sex people. Also, I didn't know that interracial couples had a problem with getting married because they were getting married, so I don't know what to say about this. But these are the things that Trump is talking about versus what Biden-Harris is talking about. And as you see here, it's like night and day. So if people were to push aside their opinions, how they may feel about Trump and Biden-Harris, and actually look at the policies and what they plan on doing with this country, I think that a lot of people would lean towards Trump, in my opinion, because it feels more like a direction for this country than what Biden-Harris is offering. So y'all tell me what you think by commenting down below.